Now it's time to talk a little bit about keeping up with news and current events in your field. Some of you are headed out to practice. You're going to find an area of law that you're going to begin to develop an interest in. You want to develop some relationships in that area. Some of you are in internships or externships and you think you may want to pursue that area of law. Here are some ways to get connected with other people who have similar ideas, similar career paths, and then other people who are dealing with perhaps the same industry if you are doing a lot of representation in one industry. To start out, the American Bar Association has a number of sections, and each of those sections has some committees or small groups devoted to specific areas of law or areas of practice. The American Bar Association has a business law section, and in that business law section they have a number of committees. They're right over here on the left. The listing of committees is here on the right, and in the substantive committees I scrolled down and found the Middle Market and Small Businesses Committee. This committee is actually devoted to lawyers practicing in the representation of middle market and small businesses. If you wanted to represent craft breweries, this might be the place for you. Many small businesses, regardless of the industry they're in, have similar needs for representation. Another place you might want to get involved is in the state bar association that you're involved in. Here's the New York State Bar Association. They have a list of blogs dealing with either specific types of representation or specific areas. Let's go ahead and take a look at the business law section blog. One of the things you see is that there's a list of business law committees here too. The one that catches my attention is the Franchise, Distribution, and Licensing Law Committee. Now, not all of that is going to deal with alcohol, but there are plenty of businesses dealing with franchise, distribution, and licensing. The nice thing about looking at this in the state where you plan to practice is you can make relationships with people who are in the area that you're in, working with the same law that you're working with, and you can actually learn an awful lot from other people who are doing similar work. I think of this as building a group of people that you can go talk to when you aren't sure that you know what you need. Next, let's talk about trade publications and trade websites. The Brewers Association. Pretty much every area of business has an association or a guild that's devoted to those areas of business and those areas of law. Take a look at the business tools. Those are pretty interesting and may provide you some really good information if you plan to practice in this area. Another trade website is the New York State Brewers Association. Again, there's the value of building a community close to the area in which you practice. Note that there's a section on farm breweries. If you want to represent a farm brewery, getting together on this website with other people who do this work is invaluable. Speaking of which, let's go on to the Brewery Law blog. One of the best ways to keep up to date with information in your area of law is to look at blogs created by other attorneys or business people in that area. The Brewery Law blog is created by Danielle Teagarden, the attorney whose CLE we watched a little bit of the other day in class. She's the one that talked about the intersection of legislation and regulation in the business of craft brewing. If you're interested in craft brewing, one of the things you're going to have to deal with is trademark disputes. She keeps up with and blogs about disputes in this particular area all the time. Her most recent blog post is about a dispute on a trademark issue in Washington State. And finally, let's look at Craft Brewing Business. This is a blog that focuses less on the legal aspects and more on the business aspects. It's a wonderful way to think about your clients in context. They don't just need you to solve a specific legal problem. They need to be able to look to you as their legal advisor. Next up, one final video that covers transactional materials.